Myanmar or Burma, depends how you want to call it, is this huge, I would say, country in this Southeast Asia, and you can see how big it is. Well, yeah, when you compare with India, it doesn't look that big, but still a huge country. I think theoretically and even some practically they are still at war, but we're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna look at the population and how those people live. That's the most important fact in this one. So yeah, you can see here as neighbors. Well, they have China, they have Thailand, they have Laos, and they have Bangladesh. So and India also. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one, I would say. I think that's India, right? Here it's India. I'm mistaken. It's some dispute territory, but I think it's India. Yeah. Okay. Let's see now. Population. 55, let's call it, million people, still rising, but the growing rate slows down and goes down year by year, I would say. Now, 1955, only 20 million people with a growing rate around 2%. That will translate roughly in 362,000 people, and also migration on minus, but 130 people is pretty much nothing. Median age 21 years old, and one of those nonsense, fertility at almost 6. Urban population 17%. Global rank 25, it's important here. In 2025, the population grew more than double, almost triple, 55 million people, which is insane. The growing rate, like I say, slows down. Now it's 0.64, but still that means almost the same growing rate, yearly change, actually, the net change as 1955. So still around 360,000 people, but migration now, probably during the war, and the country doesn't do so well economically. Migration around 40,000 people. Median age 30 years old, and fertility rate dropped down around 2.08, so much more manageable, but it's too late so now, so they have to drop the population. They cannot be one of those countries that say, okay, we can stabilize the population. No, they still has to go down a long way. Now, urban population around 35%, so you can expect a lot of countryside people living there, so it's going to be interesting to check that. And global rank 27. Now in the future, 2050, the population is going to grow until almost 60 million people. So in 100 years, they triple the population, which is, again, kind of insane in my opinion. Growing rate 0.02, so it just almost stops. That will be a net increase in around 13,000 people. So I believe like 2051 is going to be on minus. Probably even slow, even earlier than that, but that's another discussion, I would say. Migrants minus 50,000, so yeah, people are still living in the country. Median age 36 years old, fertility rate 1.83, so they just got below replacement. So yeah, going on that road. Urban population 50% and global rank 35, so yeah, they're gonna go down in global rank. Well, other countries, they're gonna pass them flying. Now, life expectancy pretty good, I would say. 67 years old, female 70, male 64. Pretty good, I would say, pretty good. Infant mortality rate 32.4 and death at the age of 5, 40.3. That's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much no medical system in that country whatsoever. Now, pyramid, yeah, pretty much basic. We're gonna see the male surplus here, and then we have a female surplus. The base getting narrow, that indicates that, yeah, the slow of the population is gonna be more reflective, let's say, in the future. Economic, like I said, they don't do well for such a huge country. It's a huge country in Southeast Asia with a huge population, and they only managed to have an economy around 65, let's call it, billion US dollars, which is extremely small, and PPP around 283. That would be like a little bit over, I think this, we're gonna see that, a little bit over $1,000, something like that per capita nominal. So yeah, I don't see it that well, I have to say, but that is because, again, war and this thing right here, corruption. Look at this. Myanmar is one of those most corrupt countries in the world. You're gonna see here, I already checked it, let me see. Myanmar or Burma, score of 16, and they dropped 6 positions. So yeah, doesn't look well for them. Like I say, corruption always kills. Corruption kills not just I would say not just the life itself, but even the future of the country and the civilization that they are based on. So yeah, pretty bad, extremely bad, I would say. Now, historically, I'm not sure how much that interesting it's in this part of the world. It was part of the British Empire. You can see here British Burma. So yeah, they got independence in 1948. So yeah, like I said, the World War II pretty much killed the British Empire. Since then, yeah, they have independence, and I'm not sure how those people, I have to say, how well they were doing in under British occupation. I'm sure good stuff and bad stuff as always, but clearly since the British, let's say, pull out from the Myanmar or Burma, whatever you want to call it, things are not going well for them. So yeah, that's kind of a sad to say, but it is what it is. So yeah, Union of Myanmar, I have no idea, they call it Union, doesn't do that well. So let's see now how those people actually, I am glad that actually we have a border, so we can actually see where this country starts and ends, what is the border of them. And I find something very interesting. Look at this, look how big it is. They stretch from the mountains, and they have here part of the mountain, which I bet is going to be extremely interesting. They're going to have so many different relief in this country, and also some climates. That will make them, I would say, extremely interesting to me. And I want to start even here on the mountains. It's such a small part, but I believe it's going to be an important one. Hopefully we're going to have at least one 360, which I highly doubt that so far. So yeah, I don't see anything, no 360 here, which is a sad thing to do. Yeah, somebody has to go there and make a 360. I'm going to use this one here, but yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously it's not there, but it's close to that, so hopefully you're gonna see pretty much the same thing there too. Wow, it's pretty nice actually here. It's not in Myanmar, but it should be pretty much similar because it's very close to them. It looks pretty nice, I have to say. It's such a shame that they don't have a 360 right there in their border, because clearly there is a nice place there. So somebody should go there and make a 360. Now let's go inside the borders now. Let's see how it is. But they have a mountain, so that's pretty good. That's pretty nice, I would say. Here in the northern part of the country, we have some guy on the bike, which is pretty nice, I would say. Traveling on the bike in the country. Actually, doesn't look bad at all so far. We have some classic architecture in this part of the world. It feels like we are starting going in a Vietnam War, I think, from the movies. Just kind of have that vibe. So far, I would say not so bad. Like I say, I am curious for those people. I'm not sure if they have YouTube there, but if somebody watching this video, I am curious how actually the life is there. Hey, from the same guys on the bike, so clearly those guys travels quite a long way. How actually life it is there, because clearly the money, it is an issue. So when you have that little of the money, at some point, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but clearly in the next few years it's not going to improve that much, so it's not going to make a huge difference in your life. I would say, like everyone else, it doesn't matter which country you are, you're always going to have rich people and poor people, just the way it is. So yeah, I'm not saying that money is not important and stuff like that, but most of the population, they will not have money even in the next 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know if something drastically changed, which I highly doubt that. Wow, this is pretty nice in here. So clearly they have a huge potential so far, I would say, for tourism. But yeah, with the situation right now there, I highly doubt that someone I would recommend is to go there to visit. But it looks pretty good. Like I said, they don't even have that 360 in the mountains, which I think is such a shame, because that was looking amazing. And you can build, like I say, a lot of tourist industry in that area. I believe this guy is making a road in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of insane. But yeah, it looks like that. Mountains pretty nice, 1,500 meters elevation. This guy has some wheels on his scooter, so yeah, I guess free wood. A lot of forests here in this area. Those countries are actually nice when you look at them. That's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, the political situation, you can see, always has a word to say, let's call it like that, and it's not always in the best interest of the people. I have no idea what happened here. Probably some water damage. I don't think it was a fire damage, but I don't know. Yeah, here it looks pretty nice. I have to say, I like it. This is from 2020, so in a pandemic, let's say like that, 370 meters. Yeah, I don't think it's that region, so somebody just mispoint that 360 there. But I hope it's somewhere in the country. This looks from the bridge, yeah. This one is a more accurate one. So they build a bridge or something here, I don't know. It's a bridge over the Kauai River, something like that, I think, right? I am amazed how they build those structure on this wood frame here. It feels like somebody's just gonna kick the post right there. You're gonna pretty much crumble the whole thing, the whole construction. But I think this is how they build roads. Just an excavator and that's it. Just starting building on the cliff. It's gonna take a lot of courage. Here it does give me a feeling of the Amazon. Here there is some human settlement, so yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one to see. Not that many 360 in this country, so yeah, that's kind of a shame because it's gonna be harder for me to actually judge them, I would say. This looks like a new construction, or at least a new renovation. They build so they have the kitchen downstairs and the bedrooms upstairs, from what I can see from here. What I like it here is just, hey, you have on your own yard, even in big cities in Europe. If you have a yard and a house in the middle of the town, of the city, you have to be pretty much rich. Here I think it's a outside bed, I'm not sure. But it could be much cleaner. I mean, they can make a much better job. I would say, like, make a cleaner, put some stones around there, put some grass, and it's gonna look much better. So yeah, but still they have potential, I would say. Potential, definitely it is there. I had 360 in this village. Yeah, I'm not gonna see much of them, but again, I have such a low expectation so far, so it doesn't look that bad. The level of the ground with the level is the road is the same level with the ground, which I always like that. This looks like a bus station. The road actually doesn't look that bad from this picture. Yeah, I have to say that. Yeah, you see poverty. I mean, you can hide that no matter what you do. And I'm not sure how expensive it's gonna be to travel in this country as a tourist, but probably not that much. But with that corruption level, it's gonna be always hard to recommend. They have a lot of cars here, so yeah, probably the same rules apply, that people go outside the country to work and they just come back and spend the money, I would say. I don't know. For those governments who sustain such a politics, I think they're never gonna end well. It doesn't make sense to just use your people as a cheap labor. Maybe it's gonna have some good results on the short term, but on the long term, it's just not gonna make anyone any favor. I am surprised, I say, by the roads. I mean, I expected to be much worse, but actually they are pretty good. They are pretty good roads. Yeah, the garbage here is just a no-no. I have no idea what it says there. And this is an advertisement for a tea, which I guess it's pretty popular there. Keep in mind, there used to be a British, not British colony, I think a British territory. Yeah, otherwise I would say pretty good so far. The roads, so far, surprisingly, they look pretty good. The housing, not so well, but they have that classical architecture of them. Yeah, those guys just chilling here. Dogs everywhere, apparently. This type of architecture, I really like it. It's nice. They have concretes on the floor, on the road, or whatever they have done in the yards. So that pretty much supposed to last a much longer time than some bitumen, tarmac, whatever. This is a lot of garbage here, so I'm not too pleased about that. This small forest, whatever it is, pretty interesting, I would say. But yeah, that garbage there is just no. I'm not sure where is the capital here, like, because I'm trying to make as least information as I can from those countries when I visit, because I just want to be surprised and see how those people actually live there and not looking for good or bad stuff. Wow, see, it's a lot of beer here or whatever that is. Smoking, they drinking. That's a great life. If they pick up the trash after them, I would say it's pretty okay. Yeah, this guy probably was to make a bath and then just chilling. They have bikes. See, you have to reconsider the important things in your life when you're living in those countries like that. They probably, I would say, when you, let's say you die and they both go to God or whatever, and they say which one lived better, and some poor guy say, well, I just stick with my friends, with my family, and just enjoy the life with the little things that we have. And the rich guy is gonna say, well, I work all day, I just a lot of stress, I push the civilization forward, which the Western world does, but I didn't have that much time for me and everybody around me. So depends, like I say, in which direction you go. It's possible actually that the people from the poor countries, they might have actually overall a better experience here on this planet, when you take in consideration everything, not just money and healthcare system and economics and experience with things that cost a lot of money. You might actually do pretty well, not extremely amazing, but pretty well, considering that what was given to you. Now, again, it's kind of such a shame we don't have that many 360s or street view to actually see every single corner that we wanted to see. Now we're going more in the south part of the country, and this is like 370-meter elevation, so not that high. And we have some sort of construction here, which with a temple or something like that. Look, it's on a hill, so yeah, probably people go there to pray, I would say. Let's go on the beach. Let's see the beach. Let's where they start the coastline, right here. Well, I don't have much expectation, but who knows? Maybe it's gonna be actually pretty good. So yeah. Actually, I don't see that much here, but it wasn't bad. They have a small village here, which is pretty much in the middle of, looks like nowhere, which is gonna make it interesting in itself. Here I think we are still on the coast of Myanmar. There it might be the other country. Could be India or whatever is there. This 360 is pretty new, but the quality is not that well. So yeah, it's gonna advance. Oh, let's find it here in this small river bay, whatever it is. The water is not that, no, it's not clean because I don't know, it's something maybe just from the river and whatever, but the bridge looks pretty solid, and probably these boats are using for fishing. So I would say this looks like a fishing village. Let's find some other spots. I want to see a spot on the beach, and I am curious how those beaches actually looking. Here it's some sort of a reunion, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, pretty wide beach, I would say. I don't see any garbage, so pretty good. If this 360 were a bit better quality, I would say that actually looks pretty nice. And we have something there on the tip. I'm gonna look at that immediately. Oh, now it's a lot of chaos here. Maybe some sort of the event. This is 2018, so you can see where people are gathering the garbage. Always follow. Now here on the beach, I like that it have this white beach, and you can go with your scooter, whatever motorcycle you have, and those people just enjoying the life right now. I would say probably some sort of a festival or celebration or holiday, whatever, but it looks like that. Now here in the tip of the it's not island, I don't know exactly how you call it. Clearly they maintain this place very well. Kind of like it how it looks. It looks very well done. This is 2016, so yeah, almost 10 years ago. Maybe it was brand new there, and now it's kind of getting old, but who knows, maybe it got actually better. The guy who owned this bar club, whatever it is, probably is gonna do well with money. This one, yeah, a lot of garbage here, which I don't like it, and the road is not that well maintained, so see how much important it is to maintain those. Those are expensive cars, so clearly they have to make money somewhere else to afford to buy those cars. But again, they have a huge population in the same time, so you can expect that many of those people are not gonna do well in the money department, let's call it like that. Yeah, some sort of a restaurant, I would say, or whatever it is. And this is like small communities pretty much spread around I hope we are still in Myanmar. Let me check. I see that border. Yeah, they have all those praying spaces, whatever they call it. They are pretty well maintained, those ones, and seems like they have it almost in a walkable distance from everyone, so that's nice. Yeah, we are still in the country. Okay, let's see something else. Now we have a street view here. Well, let's see the road. How they have a volcano there, whatever is that. I want to check that too. Yeah, this is 2018. The quality is not great, but the road looks in pretty good shape. It looks like a brand new one, judging by those edges of the road, but it's a brand new road, so yeah, I can say nothing bad about that. I saw a volcano just a second. Yeah, I think it's a volcano. I don't know, a mountain, whatever it is. It looks pretty interesting, and I want to check it. The quality is good, which is always welcoming. They have some small trails, I guess, and you can actually climb on the top of the thing, and we have one right here in the peak. They have those praying spaces, I would say. Well, pretty nice, actually. Like those palm trees. Oh, why they took me out? What is going on? Oh my god, the same problem with this Google Earth. Okay, let's try again. What else can we find here? Okay, so just some trailers, and they have some sort of the settlement here. Yeah, is this praying space, I would say. I don't know why with them. Maybe it was the old one. They have a lot of garbage here, which I don't like it. But I highly doubt that. They just start building they see, oh look, this is the highest place. Let's build a praying space, praying place right there. I don't think it's going like that, but who knows. Yeah, it is nice. Again, those trail. A lot of people just make this journey probably on the weekends. Just see that part right there. There's something happening here because there's a lot of those 360 and another praying space, or whatever. I believe it's a praying space. I'm not sure. Those buildings looks pretty strange. Why they are built like that? Can I see them in more detail? Oh, so just stairs, just walk to those. Why you don't like to get wet in case it's raining or what? Why you build that many? Let me check this road. So far, yeah, it's pretty Asian. Let's go. This is on 2018 again, and the road looks pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Maybe don't want to speak too early, but those roads look pretty good. Probably because a lot of people don't travel by the car, just using those motorcycles, and being very light, they're not gonna damage the road as much as a car, especially a heavy car. So that's why it's one of the reasons I think they have those well maintained road. I guess they just don't get damaged that much, so they can actually enjoy them without putting too much money in infrastructure, in repairs. Or you just can skip the road entirely, just have a dirt one. Which that's also kind of a alternative, let's call it like that. But yeah, the one thing that I like about those, in Europe we have more like especially in the West, we have more bicycles, not with engine. Here in Asia you have more of those motorcycles, scooters, which again clearly they have their advantages. This is pretty nice. So yeah, I have to believe maybe they have some tourist industry, but I never know anyone who say, oh, we're gonna go in Myanmar this year, we're gonna enjoy that vacation there, especially like I said with the war and everything that's happened there. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's give me the border. Hopefully we are still in the border there. I didn't check that, but yeah, I don't know what's happening. Why you give me this one? I say Myanmar, yeah. Okay, now yeah, Google has some huge errors lately, so I don't know what's happening with them. Oh, it seems like they have a highway from the north to the south part. Here I am curious the quality. Well, pretty good actually. Yeah, nobody wears helmet on the motorcycles, which is kind of strange, but I kind of appreciate that in a way, because you know, don't have, in this case, don't have that much government interfere. Say, hey, look, you want to wear the helmet, wear it. You don't, you do it on your responsibility, which I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'm not like it to just force people to do things. It's like cars, you know. We put seatbelts in your cars, but they shouldn't force you to put them, to wear them. So yeah, the seatbelt is there. If you want to use it, fine. If you don't, you do it on your own risk. That's kind of a square city here, which is kind of strange. Look at this. They have water around it. Clearly, it's a man-made one. Highly doubt that was natural, but pretty strange one and interesting. And from somebody hotel, I don't think it was a house. Looks like a hotel in this area. Now I'm not sure how many people are gonna visit that there, because it looks like in the middle of nowhere, but hey, who am I to judge? Let's check this out. Now we are in the southern part of the country, so I'm not sure if this is a capital or not. These buildings, well, they seems to have a local architecture. I'm not a huge fan, especially those one. Those are, if you watch my videos for a while, you already know what I'm thinking about those type of buildings. Road not so bad, I guess. And clearly this one, probably this is the main city, much more use. Yeah, those, I mean, nobody wants to live like that. I'm gonna after we finish this one, this city, I'm gonna look for those small villages outside the town, outside the main cities, and probably, like I said, it's gonna be better to live in that part. But again, I'm kind of impressed by the roads. I mean, I expected to be like just potholes everywhere and garbage and all that stuff, but actually they look pretty nice. This quality of the 360 is not that well. This is 2018. Clearly those white marks, they need some improvement, but otherwise look pretty good. And this, yeah, they have expensive cars too, so yeah, I sustain the same position that people probably leaving the country, especially maybe there are those in the cities, clearly they're gonna do much better economically, but still I don't think they can afford, I would say, to buy those expensive ones. I mean, just saw Toyota Land Cruiser, and that's like 50k or 60,000 euros, around that. So clearly not even in Europe can afford something like that. Many people in Europe cannot afford it. So yeah, clearly they have some sort of system there. Like I say, I believe that they just, a lot of them go from neighboring countries to work. I believe that, I'm not sure, but it seems like that way. I mean, look at this. This Toyota, it's an expensive one, I can give you right now. I'm not sure the price, but definitely if you buy one of those brand new, it's gonna cost you at least like 35k, at least in Europe. Again, road, pretty good. Housing, yeah. In a housing department, it is the main concern for me when I go in countries, because that's gonna show me. I mean, can you remember the videos that I make in Estonia? How great those house actually looks, so clear, or even better in New Zealand, which is pretty much, like I said, you cannot find a bad neighborhood there. So it is possible, but when you go to those poor countries, you cannot expect to see great houses for most of the people inside the city, at least. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. The main problem that I have, and I have to say it, is the growing population, still growing population with so much poverty. I know somebody make a study and they say any country that doesn't have an economy per capita low, that have economy lower than $5,000 per capita, usually you see the population go up, and those above 5,000 you start going, the system, you see them going down. So clearly there is a strong relationship with money. But still, when you, I mean, I don't understand from the European perspective, I don't understand that. You don't have money to live your life that you want, to make your experience, to enjoy it. And with all that, you still make a kid that also you cannot provide that well for them. For me, it's strange. It's just the way it is. Or maybe it's just the European, the Western thinking, way of thinking. But yeah, for me, I cannot do that. I can never do that. Something like that, it's just not for me. Not in our culture, I guess. That's why you see also if the population, like I say, in a Western country, in a Western world, and also in the European mostly, if the migration just pretty much stop and already start to going, I believe, start going a bit down in migration, especially outside the Western world. You're gonna see the European population already going down, but you're gonna see it going down a much greater rate because the native population of the Europeans and the Western world kind of see that so far right now, and we realize that much more many people, let's say, in this world is not gonna improve from this point. It's gonna make it actually worse. So we kind of stop doing that. Now I have no idea what's happening here. Maybe someone who just wanna clean up the forest, I believe. I'm not sure, but it's gonna be such a great to have those 360 on the beach here. It's gonna be much better, but unfortunately we do not have. Now yeah, we move on those places. You can see they have some villages here, which I am quite interesting. So let's compare living in the main town, main city, or in those horrible buildings, or living in these ones here on the coastline in this nice water. What would you choose? But keep in mind, if you choose to live here, you have to live pretty much for the rest of your life, and you're not gonna have such a great economic opportunities, which is interesting to see. Now here, this garbage, I blame it on the population here, because come on, you're living in your own backyard and I can just pick up the garbage, and whatever happened here, it should not exist. I mean, you're living in one of those great places and you just don't want to maintain it that way. Again, it feels like, I don't want to say it, but it feels like a poor education. I have no idea what's happening here, but clearly it's not from the sea. Let's check another island. Ooh, they have like a nice beach here. Oh yeah, can you imagine building one of those small whatever bamboos house, whatever that is, and living here? Or in the main town, the main city? Which one would you choose? Now, of course, you're gonna have probably a much shorter life here, because you're not gonna have that medical support, let's call it. In some case something happens, it's gonna be much harder to receive some medical help. But would you trade a few years of your life for this kind of environment to live, or just living in that poor one but more closer to, let's say, modern advantages, let's call it like that. Yeah, those guys, I think they collect garbage. I'm not sure yet. Otherwise, I have no idea why they are here. Or maybe not. I'm not sure still. Or maybe just visiting, but it's kind of weird to just stay with that life vest on you when you're just visiting. Oh, they have some sort of infrastructure here. Unfortunately, we don't have 360s there to see it. But it could be like one of those hotels, or maybe not. Looks like water reservoirs here, some solar panels. So clearly they provide clean water, hopefully, and they have a pool here, so it's gonna be one of those expensive resorts, I believe. I'm not sure, but it looks like that on the island like this. So yeah, like I said, they have some decent probably hotels there, but again, look at this, living in this area. And probably, who knows, maybe you can actually be good at something that just, hey, you're gonna start building a cabin, then I'm gonna start renting, and I'm gonna, yeah, you need some education for that, using a computer and all that stuff, and using the internet and making a business there, especially in the tourist area, because I don't think anything else can work here. I mean, I can't believe that a fisherman can make a lot of money there, just probably just gonna fish for themselves. But yeah, I mean, pretty good here. So I would expect, I have to say, I expect much worse. So maybe that's why I think it's pretty good. I don't know. Here in the southern part, look at this. This is pretty much an, I'm not sure a main town, but still a pretty big one. So many those praying spaces, whatever it is, places. Hope you're not gonna go again there. Oh, it's another one. I think they have a bit too many. Oh, they have something there. No, there wasn't praying spaces. Nice island here. Again, a praying space. Yeah, I mean, just like I said, oh god, this is pretty much horrible, and the quality of the 360 doesn't help either. Doesn't look well, I have to say. Doesn't look well. Yeah, like I say, when you have a lot of people living in the same space, and that space gets smaller and smaller with every year, it's not gonna be good. It just, no. But this one looks pretty good. This one, I believe, is some sort of hotel. Yeah, this one is gonna be like, look at this. The money makers, how they look, and how the regular population living. So yeah, clearly this is one inside a resort, 100%. So they have those nice places you want to visit it. So yeah, look at this. It looks pretty nice. I'm not sure where the water is gone. But still, look at them. They have a pool. They have tourists here. They start, I don't know, those guys want to take the shot of the sunset, I guess. This guy, I don't know, probably the same thing. Or they're probably from the staff. I never saw staff wearing flip-flops, but I guess, you know, hotel industry kind of works. Yeah, looks pretty good and kind of expensive, I have to say, but you can find those kind of places everywhere. I'm sure when I'm gonna check Africa, those poor countries, I'm gonna find something like this. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, you're always gonna have rich people and poor people, mostly poor. Like, but also I think we kind of ask too much, too fast in the same time, which is, one side is very good, you have to do that, we have to keep the pressure, but 50 years ago, 100 years ago, people, they just pretty much, I'm not sure how the life expectancy was, but clearly much less, and the condition much worse. So clearly we improve condition of living pretty much everywhere on the planet. It just, we have extremely high expectation because of the internet, I guess. With you have a phone and internet connection, and you pretty much, you can drop the population with that. But yeah, you can see some other people how they live in the same time as you on the same planet in the same year, and you're gonna get jealous, you're gonna want that, you're gonna compare yourself again with whatever you're watching, so that's gonna drive the pressure up, I would say. But it's a good thing on the other way, because you're gonna keep putting some pressure on the governments, also on your employer, whatever, to do better, to make more money, to improve your life. So yeah, this is how you advance. It's not an easy or a nice process, but this one actually looks pretty nice here. A bit garbage here, but it is what it is, I guess. And here, it's a slow process for a human life, but didn't help, like I say, with this insane growth of population. That, I think, was a major break. especially from until now. Let's say until the Soviet Union collapses, maybe you can say that's a lot of garbage. I don't like it. Before the Soviet Union collapsed, you can say, oh, that was the climate that they living people, they kind of needed in the industry and agriculture. Now, from what I can see, the whole world is gonna move mostly to services, especially for the mass of the people, especially here in the West. Because you can see the West pretty much export the industry to China and some other Asian countries. And if you work even in Europe, if you work in an industry, doesn't matter which one it is, or agriculture, you're not gonna make that much money. The real money are in services. That's how it works here. But there is a lot of competition there, so again, another problems. That's why I believe we kind of have to have some politician that start talking about this lowering population. Here in Europe it already happened, so it's not going to be like a great insane discussion, but they have to stop saying that they need to grow the population, all that nonsense, in my opinion, because just make it worse for everyone. And people realize it with less that we are, it's going to be actually better. Like I said, starting with one simple example with the roads. You can see less people on the road. The road is going to last much longer, so the money is not going to get pretty much poured every year in the maintaining the road, so they can use that money for the, I don't know, better medical system, lower taxes, better, I don't know, air quality and all that stuff. This place looks actually nice. I'm not sure about this garbage. As you can see, that's the problem with humans. When there are a few humans in one area, you can keep it clean because everybody kind of knows each other. And if you throw, let's say, your trash in the forest or in the front of the house or yard, people are gonna see that. They're not gonna react well. But when there are too many people, that, let's say, this Philip Props. And again, one of those praying spaces. That social contract, let's call it, that kind of breaks it. It doesn't have any value anymore because there are so many people trying to survive in any way possible. And keep in mind, when you have too many people in one area, the worst thing that can happen for a human is competition. We want competition from the companies, because otherwise they're gonna charge as much as they want and they're gonna make a poor quality products. And we kind of see that already with after pandemics, when especially with the car manufacturer, they just realized that, oh, we can make more money if we build more cars and charging more, because they're gonna be a percentage of people that are gonna pay that. The rest of them, yeah, fuck them, they're not gonna have a car or just go to the second-hand market, which that got also more expensive. But they realized that hey, we can make it even more money than we make it before. They just have to increase the prices and lowering the production. But it's not a good cycle, because eventually you have to fire people from the you can see with Volkswagen, fire people from the factories and all that, and somebody has to buy. That's why I think that especially in the Western world, it's going to be a change of system pretty soon, because it doesn't work like that anymore. We don't have that growing population. It just start going down, and the companies just pretty much, they do what they do. They just try to make as much money as possible with as least resources possible, and especially with in the factories and factories, with robotics that advancing. I think even in Europe, like 60% of the car, I think, is made from a robot, and the other 40 just assembly line from the humans, which that is gonna get replaced pretty soon. But somebody has to buy the cars and all that stuff that are made. So clearly the system that you're working for money or to afford things, it doesn't work anymore. So clearly the government is going to make some huge changes. They're talking about those basic incomes, but I'm not sure how basic has to be, because it has to be much more than basic to actually make it working. And the main driver of that, it was at least the population. The more people they are, the more research that are consumed, and they're going to compete for them. So clearly, even if you want to help everyone, that's just that many cars that you can build, that much food that you can actually grow and all that stuff. So a lot of praying spaces here again. So with a lower population, you can achieve, I would say, much more, especially with the automation and the AI. And this is how is the feeling here in the West. So that's a nice bike. Yeah. From those poor countries outside, they have a long way until they're gonna reach the level of the West right now, and probably they're not gonna reach from those people that are alive right now. But like I say, always I give them advice: lower population. They can give a lot of advantages. Even in my country, we're losing population from 30 years, 35 years now, constantly every year, and we're doing better every single year. I would say a bit better economically. We have other issues like economic, just inflation, all that stuff. But I can say, even if I complain about, because that's kind of what we do in the West, we have to complain to improve the life. That's an expensive car right there. Things are better. We can just, they could be much better, much easier. We have corruption too here, so that's the main problem. Corruption doesn't mean just to take money, bribe, and do nothing, or just I don't know, provide services just for some. Corruption means just have a bad legislation, have a different interests, even smaller one or bigger one, depends how we call it. Having also bad ideology, also it's a problem. So that slows down the advancement or civilization, which is a hugely bad thing. So yeah, even in the West, we still have a lot of work, but usually that's a great road again. So yeah, road-wise, they have it. I have to give them to them. Just I didn't find a bad road so far. Even here in the West, you can see a lot of people just trying to come here, especially from the outside the Western world, and they think you're gonna come here and we're gonna be great. It's not that. Especially if it's not going to be that for them. They usually take those jobs that nobody wants them, and I see that in my country when you have a lot of people from, I think, Nepal, Bangladesh, whatever they have, and they just work in these low pay industries like food delivery, for example, and pretty soon you're going to have those robots on the road that deliver the food, so clearly they're not going to need them anymore. So I'm curious, probably they're gonna send them home 100% because they're here on the visa, and like European Union, just pretty much travel freely. They're on the working visa, so when they pretty much cancel that, they have to go back or choose another country. But I'm not sure which country in the West, because they in the West, enough classical West, let's call it like that, like France and Britain. They advance a bit faster than we have here in the East, but still, I believe that the huge change has to come because the system doesn't work anymore. So yeah, and that is going to happen with the lower population. Like I say, when you have lower population, you have also a lot of advantages, not just disadvantages, as people say. Oh, you're going to economically going to collapse. The country is going to do poorly. No, it doesn't. You just have to change the system. Hopefully for the better, and like I say, we have here corruption too. It's not clean. No country is without corruption. I don't care what they say. In some of the country more, some other less. In Myanmar, clearly more. This is a nice pool here. They have some nice places also. Look at this. You know what? It's not that bad actually. I say we're gonna check a small village, and I kind of forget about that. Let's check one. Yeah, even here, like I say, in Europe, that's not a small village, but I want to see the road. I believe huge change is gonna come in the future. Again, the roads are impeccable, for God's sake. How is that possible? They have better roads than some countries in Europe. Yeah, they done great job with that. Housing, not so well because of the population, I would say. A country like Myanmar or Burma, whatever you want to call it, if they have, let's say, only 1 million people, they're gonna do much better. I mean, just insanely better. And if they achieve that slowly now, because they already kind of fucked up for this century, next one probably is gonna be much better for them. Yeah, when I say with Europe, huge change is gonna come. Even then, a lot of people will not consider that. By 2050, clearly we're gonna have a brand new system in place in the Western world. And also, I believe you're gonna have especially outside the Western world, the migration will be nearly impossible. How do I make the same choice in the same places? Yeah, I don't think that whoever wants to come here is gonna get that much easier as they get, because now they need it for, like I say, for those cheap labels. Pretty soon, when they're gonna have, like I say, as much as automation as possible. See, this is a small village, but I cannot check that. But the landscape is already better than the main cities. Unfortunately, I don't have a 360 from the village area, so I can actually check the housing, but let me get as close as possible. Yeah, so Europe, I'm gonna say it right now, huge changes are coming. Again, a praying space here, whatever. But yeah, I think it's a nice landscape at least. Huge changes are coming, and for the Europeans, for the Western world, it's gonna be actually great. From those who see the West as a, I don't know, a working place, I have to choose some other places, which probably they're gonna open to themselves in those Asian markets, or Africa not so fast. This actually looks pretty nice. Look at this, nice green, nice 360 also, I have to say that. It looks pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. So for a country like Myanmar, the corruption, I believe, is the main problem, as always. If you don't limit, I don't want to say eliminate, because you cannot eliminate corruption no matter what you do. If you don't limit the corruption as much as possible, you're not going to see real improvement in the life. So yeah, that would be a main concern. A lot of garbage here, I have no idea what's happening. But again, in the middle of nowhere, with a lot of garbage, with a whatever river that is, you still have great roads. So that's insane in my opinion. Yeah, so far Myanmar actually not a bad country, I have to say. I'm not recommending to visit it just because that corruption index, which is kind of huge and kind of scary. Oh, it's a lake here, let's check this one. But landscape wise, pretty good. Those 360 not so well, but the landscape wise pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, they're looking pretty sharp. Even this room looks pretty nice. I don't see the point of the TV there. You're on vacation, you don't want to see TV. Let me check this. Look like a desert country. What is that? Maybe they have some parts when it's more arid. Again, the road. It just it starts to box me already, because, like I said, there are places in Europe they have much worse roads than this country. So yeah, that's kind of a conflicted situation. Oh yeah, they have some sort of a desert here. Pretty interesting, I would say. Yeah, from the Myanmar, like I said, from this century, I don't think they're gonna achieve that much, mainly because the high population, it's just the way it is. The economic wise doesn't do that well. You're gonna see pretty much countries going up in economics, but you also need to have a very stable and great, absolutely, for those you have to great government. So with the slowest corruption, as we can see it in this chart, where is it, right here, you need to be pretty much on the blue side. Look at this, not even in Europe all of them on the blue side. Even France is corrupt. You can see Poland, Spain, Portugal, Italy. So you can see usually the country that do well, they are in blue. America, it's on the yellow side, because you see America is not that clean either. They have that type of corruption that I'm talking about. It's just not direct corruption, it's just slowing things down. You have a lot of lobbyists and other things that they don't want to work, go in a direction that they don't want it, and stuff like that. But you can see Germany is doing pretty good, Switzerland doing great, Ireland, UK, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Estonia. Those countries are actually doing great, and they achieved that greatness, let's call it like that, mainly, I would say, to a very tight relations between them and a lower corruption. That's the first thing you have to do. You can't start building anything until you have a low corruption. Again, I have 3 times I go there, for God's sake. I am sad a bit because we don't have a 360, which I will be much more interesting in that. But yeah, I think so far for Myanmar, it's not bad. They have a lot of potential. Ooh, I found something interesting here. Let me check this one. They have a lot of potential, but wow, that's nice. So can pretty much end strong on these islands. You can see, they do well. When they want it, they can do well. I know who's this lady is, but that's a nice potential here for tourism. That's something that I wish I could visit, but again, that corruption index kind of scares me to go there. Yeah, pretty good. You can see they have some very nice places too for the vacation. You can see, and doesn't look that many people here. Probably it's the pandemic, so that's why. At least where those 360 were made. But clearly they have some nice places for the vacation, and they can build an entire industry on things like this, and they can do much better. I'm not going there to live in a tent with some other people, but a nice hotel would be very welcoming, and some let's say boats like this one. Look at this. Those people just watching their phones when instead of just watching. Look at this, how nice it is here. Yeah, those islands are actually pretty nice. I want to see more. Let me check a few more 360s. Yeah, we end up strong here. Look at this, just look amazing, like a paradise. They have potential to do those mangroves. I think they call it mangroves trees, whatever. They have a huge potential for a lot of good things here. It's just like I say, lower corruption and a will actually to want it to improve. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's interesting, but they're too close to each other, so they kind of ruin the experience. Yeah, good plan. They need a good planning, urban code, and like I say, low corruption and a lot of time and effort. Those beaches looks amazing, because even from the buff they look amazing. From the, let's check this 360 from the ground here, with it probably look even better. Yeah, a lot of people here, which kind of ruin the things, and the weather is not that great, and I have no idea what they're doing. Probably they just secure the boats. It is nice, this island. I have no idea how they call it, but oh, probably I'm not sure if it's in a Myanmar territory now. Fuck, but it is pretty close to that, so they definitely they have, look at it, they have also those islands to just they don't have those 360s. Oh, they have one here. Let's check this one. But it's clear it's the same island. It's because in not the same country you're gonna find pretty much the same thing. So yeah, you have the beach, you have, it is nice here too. Let me check another one. Overall, I would say they need to lower the corruption as fast as possible, and at the same time the population also has to stop with this growth. Like I said, probably nobody who's living right now, they're gonna see a great improvement on their lives, just the way it is. Oh, that's kind of nice. Look at this. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a nice vacation. You're just walking on this beach every morning. That's gonna calm you down. That's what you want to do. But also, who makes those 360? It's not the best quality. It's just don't post it. It's just gonna ruin the whole thing. Yeah, I think that was the video. Yeah, I want to see this guy. But the water, it's amazing. See, if you live in this country, just say something nice. I don't know. Say something about the experience there, how you think the things are improving or not in the country. Because like I said, from the next 25 years, like I said, the main problem is this growing huge in population, which is huge. They're gonna grow how much? They're gonna grow like another 4 million people in the next 25 years. Clearly the growing rate are slowing down, but there's still a huge population. They start with 20 million, and they got in 100 years, in 2055, they get 3 times as much as population. And the medical system is lacking. The only thing that actually is not lacking is the roads, the infrastructure, which is look kind of great, I have to say. Probably they don't have that many roads, but at least those they have, they actually pretty good. Otherwise, housing pretty fucked up, I would say. And I would really, and see, that's the problem. When you live, probably you're gonna do better, like I say, when you live in those small islands. But if you have a good government in the region and gonna say, hey, you don't have that many opportunities here, you are just a fisherman, and you are like, you have a son or a daughter that is, I don't know, 15 years old, send them to school, and then when they finish, just come back here. Let's build a resort, a hotel or something, to just start making income for your people, for your son, for your daughter, for the city, for the local government, and improve the lives on everyone. That would be a good approach, because in this area I can see tourist industry doing pretty well. It looks pretty nice. They have something nice, and with the stable government. They're not that much corruption. They can do a lot of things, I have to say. Otherwise, yeah, that was the Myanmar, that was the Burma. I didn't see that many British influence, I have to say. I didn't check if they have the cards on the right, the steering wheel's on the right side. No, I think it's on the left side from this 360. So yeah, they didn't have that from the British. Yeah, overall I would say pretty nice. Just huge country. Make some 360 here in the mountains, because I believe there's gonna be a great one here. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have any of them. Well, the one that we saw probably is from India, I think. I don't know exactly where we are here, but look at this. It looks pretty nice. I mean, even in this area, you can make a resort, and you can make a lot of income for your people in the country. Yeah, check the other videos if you want. Next one, I'm not sure, we're gonna check tomorrow, but we're gonna remain in the region. I already make Thailand, but I didn't think I make that, how those people live. I don't remember at least. Probably I'm gonna go with Laos and maybe Sri Lanka. Those countries I'm gonna make tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna see that tomorrow. So check the other videos, and see you next time.